Good morning, and the show is brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. My name is Chris Hand. However you're listening, we appreciate it, whether you're on the iHeartRadio app, the TuneIn app, or if you're watching Super Talk TV over on YouTube. Thank you for being a part of the show. All right, do you think we're going to get significant information today from Jeffrey Epstein? Are we going to get a list? Are we going to get some flight logs? Are we going to get some pics? Picture didn't happen, right? His whole house was wired for video and audio. We know that the FBI has those files. Are we going to get it today? I'll tell you what, I'm keeping my expectations very, very low because if I don't, then the disappointment's going to be very, very high. Even though Pam Bondi last night on Jesse Waters, she had said some, not all, some information would be released today. She said, including a lot of flight logs, a lot of names, a lot of information. This is Pam Bondi last night on Jesse Waters.
One of the things a lot of people are wondering, because you said last week that you have the Epstein files on your desk, is when can we see them and what's taking so long to release them?
I do. Jesse, there are well over, this will make you sick, 200 victims. 200. So we have well over 250 actually. So we have to make sure that their identity is protected and their personal information.
That's what's taking so long? That's what's what year did they raid Jeffrey Epstein's home? This has been going on for years. You haven't had time to redact anything? You haven't even thought to start that process over at the FBI? Now I understand Pam Bondi is new in charge, right? I understand Kash Patel just got in. But there was nobody at the FBI doing that already? Are you kidding? That's the holdup? That's the holdup. I saw a headline from the Babylon Bee. It says, breaking news, redacted bar comes to Epstein Island 400 times. And it's like, yeah, I feel like that's probably what we're going to get. That's probably closer to the truth than what we're expecting, that it's just going to be a series of papers with just blacked out lines and no real information. What do you think? Do you think we're going to get the Epstein info today? 615-737-9986 is the number to call in or text, or you can hop over in our YouTube channel. Super Talk TV is live, and we do have a poll up today. Do you think we will get actual Epstein info today? Right now, we got a 54 to 46% with never beating yes, finally. Pam Bondi continues last night on Jesse Waters.
But other than that, I think tomorrow, the personal information of victims. Other than that, I think tomorrow, Jesse, breaking news right now, you're going to see some Epstein information being released by my office.
So this is last night. Tomorrow is today. She said, breaking news. Tomorrow you're going to see some Epstein information. Some, not all. Not the whole kit and caboodle like it was promised. Some.
What kind? Are we going to see who was on the flights? Are we going to see any evidence from what he recorded? Because he had all of his homes wired with recording devices.
Yeah, what you're going to see, hopefully tomorrow, is a lot of flight logs, a lot of names, a lot of information. But it's pretty sick what that man did.
Yeah. This is why we want to know who he did it with. We understand how sick and how evil and how disturbing this information is going to be, but I do think the American public is ready to actually dive in and disseminate some of this information. We have been prepped, right? Years ago, if you said that there was a pedophilic blackmail ring compromising U.S. politicians, people would look at you like you had 10 heads. Nowadays, I could literally hop into any Uber in the city and be like, hey, you know that Jeffrey Epstein was blackmailing politicians and the elites of society via pedophile sex rings. And they'll be like, yeah, I know. You can walk into a 7-Eleven and be like, hey, tell me about Jeffrey Epstein. They'll be like, oh, the pedo guy? Yeah. I think the American public is ready right now for all of the information, not just some of it. I don't think the majority of the public is going to be shocked, right? Like when this story first broke, had you dropped everything right then, yeah, there might have been some meltdowns. But now, like, we're fully aware that there were people like Bill Clinton, Prince Andrew, Bill Gates, and more commingling with this guy. And we just want to know the details. There was a child sex trafficking ring. Two people, Epstein and Ghislaine, face charges for it. Two. One of the most prolific, if not the most prolific, pedophile sex trafficking rings in American history. And it just so happened that they had no customers. No, we're ready for full disclosure. 100%. Redact the victims' names by all means and release everything else. And if they don't release everything else, then it's going to essentially exacerbate everybody who says it's a uniparty. It's the illusion of choice. It's one group ruling everything. There's no difference between the left and right. It's going to be another feather in the cap of people who say this political theater is just WWF. They're putting a story on the screen for us, and they don't care. They don't care. Who was Jeffrey Epstein working for? Who did he service with these underage children? This is what we want to know. And we want to know beyond a shadow of a doubt. And we know beyond a shadow of a doubt that you have all the information. Make it available to the public. Where are the good leakers, right? Like, you hear these stories where, like, CIA agents are going to leak secrets to our adversaries. It's like, okay, where are the patriots in these organizations who are just going to grab this and leak it? Like, that guy or girl would be an absolute hero. Leak it all. Can we get a leaker? If we can't get the people that we've put into these positions to give us the information that we demand to see, can we get somebody to leak it? Honestly. Anybody? There's nobody up there with the spine to do it? I find that hard to believe. Mike in Nashville, do you think we're getting the Epstein list today?
Okay, yeah, how you doing today? I'm very surprised, with what's going on. I thought Donald Trump, he would put the hammer down, to Bondi and put the people, to get this list up, get this list revealed. I'm kind of surprised that it's taking this long, and then it looks like she might be beating around the bush. She's making excuses about she wants to protect the identity of over 200 different women, and I can understand that. But like you said before, there's a way of covering that up and protecting their identity. We've been waiting a long time to see this list. The American people deserve to see this list. We waited too long to begin with. And if everything is not revealed today, all the names and all these things, I'm going to be very disappointed because I think that they're trying to hide something. And I thought that Bondi she was going to be a better person than this. I don't know if somebody's over her head controlling the situation, but I think that everything, we need to know these names. We already know the couple of names, like you say, Bill Clinton and Harry and some other people. But I want to know who these other people are, and hopefully these people will be brought to justice once we find out these names. And I thank you for taking my call.
Yeah, I'm with you, Mike, and I appreciate the call. It's like, but the lack of information is just fueling the conspiracy theories, right? And you can't blame people for coming up with theories. No, a lot of the internet says, well, Epstein was working for Israel, and Ghislaine Maxwell's father, Robert, was totally Mossad. And it's like, okay, maybe, but we don't know for sure. But you can't put those theories to rest until we have all the information. Was it a foreign government compromising our politicians? Was it our government? Was it our CIA compromising our politicians? Like, we demand some information. And we were promised this information. So give us the damn information.
One of the big questions I have is, what does the public gain from seeing the list? Is it accountability for our government to make sure those people are taken care of?
I think that we gain actual criminal charges. I think that's what we need. Like, the Bill Clinton should be criminally charged for what he did on that island.
Yeah. So it doesn't mean, so it's a big accountability situation where it doesn't get swept under the rug.
You can't hide from it anymore once it's all out in the open. We need it. We need it.
Yeah, and I think that's big because I do think if this thing keeps getting put off, keep getting redacted, things keep getting pushed under whatever hypothetical rug that whatever. The Trump administration is working hard to make sure these people are taken care of. I just don't know who's going to get in their way to keep it hidden.
But you said, like, what do we gain? I think one of the big things that we could gain is faith in our institutions again. Like, who has faith in the FBI and the CIA and all of these intel networks? Like, that's definitely something we could gain, because we would know that the people in charge are keeping their promises. They're demanding transparency like everybody else, where the last 4 years we just haven't had that. That's something we could all gain. Marie in Nashville, you're up next on Super Talk. What's up, Marie?
Yeah, hi, Chris. Love your show.
Thank you.
You know, conspiracy theories, this and that, I'm not really worried about those. We have, first of all, with Pam Bundy, this is definitely, and you were right, this is a true test. This is her first big one since she's been in office. So we're going to watch, and we're going to listen, and we're going to see what happens with her. On the other hand, Chris, as you know, and I'm a parent of 3 children, and you're a dad, and everybody, we have such a dark, deep side in this country, in this world, with the abuse to children all around the world. And we have to start peel the layers off, from Epstein to Diddy to Jay-Z, all of them.
Yep.
We're working on immigration, which is a great thing, but we need a task force completely with all the time and energy, deep, dark side. There are people in this country on child daily, on social media daily. Little children, people can get access to this stuff. There is such a dark side that the children in our country, when it's adult and it's consensual and people, you know, that's one thing. But I am talking like you are, underage children. And this country, especially, I mean, we can't cure the world, but our country we have control of. We need a special, literally a task force to just peel away the layers of these sex traffickers and the dark, dark side of this country, of what they are doing.
I'm with you, but we need a task force that we can trust, right? And if we're not getting the information from the people that they put in power, it's going to be hard to trust this task force.
Well, this is you are right. This is the true test, and we really have to wake up in this country and make people accountable and protect the children.
Yeah,
because
I'm with you.
It's out of control.
I'm with you. And it's been out of control for a while. I mean, and I appreciate your call, Marie. Thank you so much. But you had the callboy scandal of the White House in the 80s, Reagan and Bush administration. You have the theories of the finders and the sex trafficking in the CIA, and then you get Pam Bondi, and during her confirmation hearing, she talks a good game about ending human trafficking.
Human trafficking became a top priority for me as Attorney General. I had the opportunity on a bipartisan trip to go to Mexico, and the one thing I found out there, they were doing better than we were. They had safe houses. I saw things I never dreamed I would see, and all of these things in my past have formed the person I am right now, sitting here before you.
So, time to put your money where your mouth is, Pam Bondi. This is where the rubber meets the road, right? Like all the cliches. But honestly, it's time for full disclosure. Hide the names of the victims and release everything else. Is today the day we're going to get it? 615-737-9986 if you want to join the conversation. Steve, Roger, I see you guys on hold. I'll get to you next. We got more on the way. You can watch us on YouTube, Super Talk TV. Hit like and subscribe while you're there. We do appreciate it. It is 9:21 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand, and I'm here for my friends at the Glock Store all February long. Perfect date night is at the Glock Store. Shoot270.com, indoor ranges. It's a private shooting room, not a lane range. This is going to be a personal experience with a private instructor, and you're going to get 2 shooters for the price of 1 all February long. You book your session at shoot270.com, and when you get down to the incredible, incomparable Glock Store, you say, hey, Chris Hand sent me, and they'll knock that price in half for you. That's all February long. You just show up, mention my name, and it's 2 shooters for the price of 1. Now, if your partner hasn't been to Shoot 270 before, You got to explain how cool this place is. Indoor shooting room, personal instructor, an experience tailored to your level of expertise. This is going to be fantastic, and you're going to walk out better than you walked in, guaranteed, no matter the level you're at. Book 2 shooters for the price of 1 right now, shoot270.com. Again, you mentioned my name all February long. 2 for the price of 1 at the Glock store, minutes from the airport, worth the drive from anywhere, shoot270.com.
Did you know you're overpaying for your health and wellness products?
With over 20 company-owned brands offering its members vitamins, supplements, wellness, and skincare products, you're able to save up to 70% off retail.
Members Nutrition can't change your life, but we can change the way you live.
President Trump announces some new tariffs on China. That's coming up here at 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Joan Jones. It is now 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN, 9:26, like 10:30 on the East Coast. And every hour that goes by today where we don't get this information drop, the more doubtful I will be. You know, before she was AG, Pam Bondi talked a big game.
Well, we know he was on the plane, not only on the plane a couple times, multiple times. He traveled internationally with Jeffrey Epstein. And he was on the plane called the Lolita Express because it supposedly had a bed in there where Jeffrey Epstein had young girls. He has been a friend of his, a continuing friend of his for years and years. Contrast that with Donald Trump, who hasn't spoken to him in many years, over a decade, after he kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago for bad behavior. So that's the difference there. And I think Americans see the two-tier justice system. But, you know, we don't know. They're saying Clinton has not been to his private island, but he has traveled all over the world with Jeffrey Epstein. I want to know why AG Garland and the Justice Department are so quiet on this tonight.
Again, that was Pam Bondi. This is back when the lawsuit dropped that named Clinton and Prince Andrew in all those files. It was the Virginia Guffrey lawsuit, I believe. And she talked a big game. Why is the AG so quiet? And I would pose the same question to you now. Why is our AG so quiet? Right? Is it not fair to levy the same questions to her? I think it's more than fair. Let's go to Roger in Hendersonville. You're up next on Super Talk. What's up, Raj?
Hey, Chris. So my thought on it, because my wife and I are both waiting with bated breath for them to drop this list. But the thing that I've thought of is I wonder if they're not concerned with tainting the jury pool, because when you release all these names and all these people are known to be Epstein clients, probably the only jury that wouldn't convict would be a full Democrat jury.
It's interesting.
That's just my 2 cents.
I mean, but she could also come out and say, we have names and we're working on criminal charges, and that's going to take some time. And I think that just that one sentence would give the American public, it would give her enough room, right? Like we'd give her the runway to do that. If she came out and said, I want to release everything, but I'll be honest with you, we have criminal charges pending and I just can't. Everybody would be like, okay, cool.
I agree, and I think that's probably what we're going to get later today. What they're probably doing is parsing through all of the information, because I think they're actually going to release all information, but anything related to the actual criminal cases will probably have to wait until after a jury trial. So I think that's probably what they're going to end up doing, is saying, hey, here's all of the information that is not directly related to criminal charges that are currently being pursued against these individuals. And once all of that has been handled, all the other information will be released.
Yeah.
That's my 2 cents.
Hey, fingers crossed, man. I'd be fine with that, but I want them to come out and at least tell us. You got to tell us. It's 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. We got a lot of people in the queue waiting to jump in and join the conversation. 615-737-9986 if you want to join the conversation. And don't forget, you can watch the show over on YouTube. Super Talk TV is live. Hit like and subscribe right now. Joan Jones.
Good morning, 9:30. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. There is a crash this morning. It's downtown. Got to watch it around 3rd Avenue and Broadway. In the news, the Trump administration won a temporary legal victory in its effort to freeze $2 billion in foreign aid in a Supreme Court ruling overnight. That ruling comes after a judge told the Trump administration they can't withhold the money.
The Chief Justice basically hit the pause button. John Roberts asked the aid groups to respond to the Trump administration request by noon tomorrow, and I'd expect then the Supreme Court to weigh in very quickly after that time whether or not this district court judge here in Washington exceeded his authority when he ordered the government to keep the money flowing.
ABC News' Devin Dwyer there. Meantime, President Trump is now saying starting next week, the U.S. will impose an additional 10% tariff on imports from China over its role in the fentanyl trade. And in a Truth Social post, the president also said those 25% tariffs on Mexico and Canada, They'll begin on March 4th. A portion of I-40 in North Carolina to the Tennessee state line is officially set to reopen to traffic on Saturday. One lane will be available each direction, only 35 miles an hour, though, through that area because the lanes will be so narrow. DOT officials say expect delays. It's also still unclear how long it'll take to completely repair and reopen the eastbound lanes of I-40 that collapsed into the Pigeon River below during Hurricane Helene flooding. That's the latest news. Weather is up next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
For many of us, generators are becoming a must-have household appliance. From unpredictable weather to surprise outages, it's better to be safe than sorry. Generator Supercenter of Nashville offers fast and easy installations with 24/7 service and monitoring to all brands of generators and expert repairs done right. Our mission is to make owning a backup generator simple and easy. Visit your local store today or check us out online. Generator Supercenter of Nashville. We serve all Middle Tennessee.
One of the things a lot of people are wondering, because you said last week that you have the Epstein files on your desk, is when can we see them and what's taking so long to release them?
I do. Jesse, there are well over, this will make you sick, 200 victims. 200. So we have well over 250 actually. So we have to make sure that their identity is protected and their personal information. But other than that, I think tomorrow, the personal information of victims. Other than that, I think tomorrow, Jesse, breaking news right now, you're going to see some Epstein information being released.
That was Pam Bondi last night on Jesse Waters' show saying today's the day, my friends. We're going to get some Epstein information. Now, I understand we don't want to put the victims out there on blast. I absolutely understand that. You got to protect their identity. But I feel like you've had a lot of time to do so. And I feel like even more so than protecting their identity, these victims demand justice. And I just hope and pray that justice is coming with a heavy hand for everyone involved in the Epstein Island. And even if some of our faves get swept up in it, good. They deserve to be held accountable as well. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I'm Chris Hand. Show is brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. If you're watching us on Super Talk TV over on YouTube, hit like, hit subscribe. We do appreciate it. My wife watches on the big screen. She puts it on the YouTube app on the Roku.
Yeah.
You can hit the thumbs up if you're watching on TV, too.
Yeah, just grab that little remote, push up. It gives you a thumbs up or a thumbs down option if that's what you're feeling.
If you genuinely dislike the show and you don't want the Epstein list released, you can thumbs down.
Yeah, but be genuine.
Steven's been holding for a minute, and I appreciate you holding, Steve. Wants to talk about the Epstein list. Your thoughts, my friend?
Yeah, man. Hey, Chris. Glad to hear this is finally coming out. This has been that guy was doing that for a long time. I saw the Epstein files or whatever on the video of some of those victims, and New York had him. Could have prosecuted him a couple times back in the day, and he got off the hook. But it's kind of weird that you see presidents and princes and people of power. I wouldn't be surprised if Biden's name or Hunter's name or somebody like that comes out too. I don't know how far back it goes with them, but definitely I think this is going to be a big eye opener on Clinton and get him in court and question him. And the 200 victims, I'm sure there was a lot more than that.
I'm with you.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. They should deserve some money. Also, I would hit all these guys in their pockets and get as much as we can out of them. But if they prosecute them and put them in jail, put them behind bars, do whatever we can. But it's really a serious thing. But I just wanted to say one last thing. I mean, I can hear him now sitting in court along the lines of something like, I did not have sexual relations with those young girls.
Yep. I hear you. It's
I was just going to a Diddy party.
It's dark, man. It's dark. I appreciate the call, Steve. I just want to know who it was. I mean, the list of rumored names has been out there for years. And you would think, all the lists of the rumored names, they never really come out and scream against it. Like when you hear names like Bill, who's been named in lawsuits, Bill Clinton, but like Bill Gates, you hear names like Jay-Z, you hear names like, all sorts of names, Al Gore, Alan Dershowitz. A lot of these people don't ever come out and scream at the top of their lungs that they weren't there. So it gives you pause. It gives you a bit of pause. There's rumored names like Steven Spielberg, Stephen Colbert. I don't know if it's true. But even if you're a rumored name, wouldn't you be out there being like, that's wrong. I was never on that island. You need to release the list and clear my name. But you never hear that. It's interesting. It's weird, if you ask me. It's a bit off-putting. But the rumored list has been out there for years. The victims deserve justice. I do. I think it's a lot more than 250 as well. I mean, in New Mexico, there was reports that he had, areas for women to give birth. There's rumors of baby farming, like it's just vile, disgusting. Now, there's also reports that like maybe some of these individuals had no idea that the girls were underage at all. Like maybe there seems to be this attractive young 20-something-year-old girl, and then you wake up the next morning and Jeffrey's right there. He goes, hey, it'd be a shame if this tape got released. Oh, yeah, the room was being recorded. By the way, she was 17. It'd be a shame if your wife found out. This blackmail operation isn't just necessarily pedophiles doing pedophile stuff because they like to do pedophile stuff. There's a lot of options and scenarios here. I just want the information so that way the public and we can all kind of look at this clear-eyed and figure out what happened, exactly what happened. Lloyd in Clarksville, you're next on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. What's up, Lloyd?
Good morning, Chris. I was going to say aloha, Mr. Hand, but that's probably not appropriate to do. So, hey, one of the reasons I think it might be delayed, they're probably still putting together all of the information that was put in the shredder by the FBI.
So, and I've heard these reports too, the rumors that the FBI has been destroying evidence of Epstein. I don't know how true those reports are, and I don't know why they would wait until now to go destroy the evidence when they could have destroyed it years ago. Why hang on to it if the plan is to destroy it if somebody that doesn't align with you gets in office?
Also, we're going to hear the whole national security thing. We got to worry about Mossad connections. They're going to say Kash Patel is just now getting into office, so he can't do anything yet. I've got a list of reasons why they're going to have excuses. And I would also even say that if we saw some of the people that are alleged to be on those lists leaving the country to non-extradition countries, we would then say, yeah, that list is coming out.
Yeah. I just want to find out. And to your point on Kash Patel, and I appreciate the call, Lloyd, Glenn Beck was on the Patrick Bet David podcast 12 days ago now, 13 days ago, 2 weeks ago. And he said, by the end of Kash Patel's first day, we're going to have the entire list released. Still waiting. Still waiting. Still waiting. February 24th, Glenn Beck tweeted, if Patel puts out the Epstein client list today and hands it to the world, we're not just talking about names on a page. We're talking about a seismic shift. This is a reckoning that could rip the mask off of the elites. I think that's what a lot of people are hoping for. Ripping the mask off. Cecil in Smyrna, you're next on Super Talk. What's up, man?
Hey, what's up? Hey, I got one question. Did Biden them have access to this list before Trump got in office?
The FBI's had the list for a while.
Okay, then. This is the situation. Oh, man, I think this stuff was, you wouldn't believe it, though, from the way Chuck Schumer have been acting, though, but I think Trump and them probably been using this list as leverage to try and get some of them Democrats to vote on their policies and everything. That's if they've been on the list. But if, I just don't, I just believe it's been tampered with. If Biden has had it and it's been under their regime, I think it's been tampered with.
It may be.
Know Donald Trump name could be under there.
Hey, and if Trump's name is on there, we'll throw him under the bus with everybody else, as he would deserve to be. I don't believe Trump is on the list. And you can talk to there's a defense attorney for victims of Epstein, an attorney for victims of Epstein from, this was 2009. He's on the record saying that the only person that helped him with any information was Donald Trump, and they gave him actionable information. You also have reports of Trump kicking Epstein out of Mar-a-Lago because of inappropriate behavior towards an underage female at the club. So I don't think that Trump is going to be on the list. If he is, if new information becomes available and that's indisputable, then yeah, he deserves to be punished with the rest of them. To your other point, where you said Trump might be using this list for leverage behind the scenes to get Democrats to vote in ways that will help them, I would just say, if that was the case, that's evil, that's wrong, that shouldn't be done. And B, which Democrat has voted in favor of Trump or done anything beneficial for Trump yet? You know what I mean? It says,
so that's kind of my little I guess you could say truck driver conspiracy theory.
Hey, we welcome all theories on the show, Cecil. I appreciate
all that though, man. I'm just happy Trump in office, man. I'm just excited about the future for America. That's all I want to say, bro.
Me and you both, man. I appreciate it, Cecil. Thanks so much. But again, 2 weeks ago, Glenn Beck said that the list would be out in 10 days.
The only thing I care about is the scandal of the pedophiles, and in the next 10 days, you're going to see the Epstein file released.
In the next 10 days?
Next 10 days.
Oh,
Yep.
please. You think in the next 10 days the whole thing's going to be released?
Yeah.
And what kind of information you have to be able to be that certain about it?
I plead the fifth.
In the next 10 days?
Next 10 days.
Oh, please.
Glenn,
Stop it.
Next 10 days.
You're
I'm telling
teasing millions who want that list.
Day number 1, Kash Patel walks in. By the end of the day, it will be released.
Oh, please.
So that didn't happen. And again, you got to let the guy have some time, right? Like, I'm not knocking Kash Patel, but Glenn's sources weren't great. They just weren't. High-level sources, it didn't pan out yet. We're being told that we could have information today via Pam Bondi last night on Jesse Waters. And I'm hopeful, but I'm taking all this information with a lot of salt, and I'm keeping my expectations very, very low to avoid disappointment. Jenny in Gallatin wants to talk about the list. What's up, Jenny?
Oh, nothing much. I just wanted to say that I think they're not going to release that list until they pass that big, beautiful bill, because there's some Republicans on that list, and they don't want to lose a single vote until they get that bill passed. It's
interesting. That's an interesting theory. Personally, I'd say screw the big beautiful bill. Like, we demand accountability, and if there are Republicans on the list, they are just as evil as Democrats on the list, and I don't want them in our government any longer, whether it's to get a big beautiful bill passed or not.
Well, I think the bill is important enough they can hold off until they get that passed, and then let the names come out.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. I hate the idea of that. I hate the idea of this list being used as leverage. I hate that you're almost being complicit in evil if that's the case, right? Like, that's not a good look. It's not a good look to be complicit when it comes to evil. Like, we need to push back against evil. Over on our YouTube page, we have a poll going on. Do you think the Epstein list will come out today? Do you think we'll get actual Epstein info today? We have yes at 61%. Never at 39%. Every hour that goes by today, I'm gonna be leaning more and more towards never. I mean, it's now almost 11 o'clock in D.C. So, when's it going to come out? When's it going to come out? You would think that they would drop it first thing in the morning, right? I mean, I'm keeping my fingers crossed, but I'm keeping my expectations low. Bruce in Nashville, you're next on Super Talk. What's up, Bruce?
Hey, how you doing? My opinion is on this, I think it's going to come out probably in phases. The list itself is probably come out first. I'm not really going to knock them for, hey, it's taking too long. It's like in the Kash Patel, like day one, all that. But you got a lot of things going on day one, and I think Bondi has to, that list is a lot of victim stuff, redacting things on there, but there's a lot of eyes on this, making sure that things are not revealed. They got to be very diligent about this. So I'm not upset that they haven't been released yet. It will be, I believe, but I think it'll be in phases. I think it'll be like some things that give us some pause and things, and then there'll be a next one coming out. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, no, I hear you, but I think the timeline isn't just when the Trump administration started. I mean, the FBI has had information on this guy since, what was it? It was 2005 when police began investigating Jeffrey Epstein. In 2008, he was pleading guilty to charges. In 2009, he was out of jail for some of those charges. And then he's still working with people like Bill Gates. He's still working with Bill Clinton. He's still flying around and jet setting and getting that compromat on all these people. And then it was 2019 when he's arrested on federal sex trafficking charges. Then his homes are raided. Then the video evidence and the information is all gathered by the FBI. So the timeline isn't just since January 20th. The timeline is since July 6, 2019. It has been years, and we demand some accountability. Dead man tells no tales, though, right? I still don't think Jeffrey Epstein killed himself, for the record. Like, no way. No freaking way. It's 9:51 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Metro police believe they have the shooter who killed a young woman outside an after-hours club. And Elon Musk makes an appeal for certain retired employees to come back to work. That's coming up here at 10 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Joan Jones. 56 minutes past the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I'm Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. We are patiently waiting the release of the Epstein list or info. I hope it comes out today. Every hour that goes by, I'm getting a little less confident.
Just need something.
A little less confident.
Something.
A lot of people on the text line are saying, listen, we just want to make sure we get it right. We gotta take it slow. And I'm just thinking it's been 6 years now. Like, nobody's poured over this already. Nobody's looked at it. They just got all the tapes and the lists and the details, and then they just locked them away and said, okay, we won't look at this. Doubt it. I understand redacting names of victims. I can't imagine that would take very long. Just can't. I just can't. Republicans might be on the list. Good. I hope that they're held as accountable as anybody else. All of them.
I think a big thing that people need to remember is that Republicans aren't the good guys and Democrats aren't the bad guys. We're all Americans working together, and it doesn't matter.
Evil is evil.
Exactly.
Evil is evil.
It's going to fall on both sides or
100%,
on either party.
100%.
I think people just need to remember that.
So we just want the names. Do you think that by the time we get around the corner to our State of the Union party on March 4th that we're going to have actual information?
That would be huge.
You think so? But do you think, like, what's the percentage that by the time we get to the party at Nashville Palace on March 4th that we have actual information and accountability?
I think we're sitting at like 40% right now.
40%?
I'm holding out till Monday. That's what I've told myself that I'm waiting till. And then after that point, if it comes out, cool. If not, I'm not getting my hopes up.
I was surprised that she said it would come out today. Usually this feels like a 5 o'clock on Friday kind of drop. That's where the news goes to die.
Something to stew on the weekend.
We'll find out. We'll keep you updated. Should any names be released? Should any info be released? We will break into anything we're talking about and cover it. And we have a poll going on right now on the YouTube page. Do you think that this stuff is actually going to be released today? Yes or no? And we're at 60% on yes. 60%. You can vote on our YouTube page and watch us on Super Talk TV. And don't forget, that party is coming March 4th. We want you there. Nashville Palace. It's going to be awesome. Myself, Mandis, Murphy, Benson, Wilson, Jones, Weaver, the entire squad. We are rolling deep, and we want you to roll deep as well. Tickets are available at 997WTN.com. Comes with a full spread barbecue buffet, which is going to be absolutely delicious. Drink tickets and more, reserve seating, 997WTN.com. On the way, Trump's first cabinet meeting. That was wild yesterday.
Yeah.
I mean, what a cast of characters. I played an audio clip yesterday of James Comey. Nobody really likes James Comey. But he's like, oh, the next Trump term, he's not going to get all stars. It's like, did you see the cabinet meeting?
It was stacked.
Totally.
Rubio, Kennedy, Musk, Bondi, Hegseth. I mean, I can go on and on and on. Doug Burgum, though, he really, like, I was watching body language in some of these videos just because I'm a weirdo. Doug Burgum really loves President Trump.
By the way, so does Howard Lutnick.
Howard Lutnick
Commerce
does too.
Secretary, yes.
Yep. I like Howard Lutnick a lot.
Yeah, me too.
I like Howard Lutnick more than I like Burgum, but I don't dislike Burgum at all. But Burgum was like, I mean, he was like batting the eyelashes anytime Trump talked. I was like, yo, chill, bro.
He's swooning over there.
He's married. Stop.
Stop.
That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. We'll bring you some of the highlights from that cabinet meeting when we return right now, 10 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN and the news with Joan Jones.
Good morning. It's now 10 o'clock, and I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. A second suspect now charged in the shooting outside of a South Nashville after-hours club in December, in which 18-year-old Ashley Dominguez was killed. News 2's Megan Fee says a 15-year-old was arrested earlier.
Now police have arrested Christian Pierre, who they believe is the shooter. The warrant shows he's accused of walking into the road with a rifle, shooting into the victim's vehicle after an argument.
Pierre's behind bars now, and his bond was set at $2 million. Two Clarksville parents have won their lawsuit against the Clarksville-Montgomery County school system, which graduated their son with a 3.4 grade point average, despite their son not being able to read. He is dyslexic, and the judge in their case ruled the schools failed to provide a free, appropriate education under the Americans with Disabilities Act. Millions of federal workers bracing for large-scale layoffs as the Trump administration orders agencies to move ahead with restructuring.
The Trump administration directing all federal agencies to submit plans for large-scale layoffs and restructuring by March 13th.
We're cutting down government. We're cutting down the size of government. We have to. We're bloated. We're sloppy.
Thousands of probationary workers have already been fired. The president saying the Environmental Protection Agency could cut 65% from its workforce.
That's ABC's Rachel Scott. Department heads are also directed to plan for relocating outside of Washington, D.C. to areas of the country that are less costly. In Polk County, Florida, a new control tower academy is working to fill the void in the nation's air traffic control system. The shortage of air traffic controllers has become the focus after several recent mid-air crashes and landing strip close calls. Well, now Elon Musk is issuing a mayday of sorts. In a post on X, he said, quote, "There is a shortage of top-notch air traffic controllers. If you have retired but are open to returning to work, please consider doing so." We're also learning this morning that in two places, Atlantic City and in Alaska, Elon Musk has already been providing his Starlink systems internet provider. He's providing it free on an emergency basis to replace Verizon services. They may roll it out throughout the country. Wall Street investors seem to be shrugging off some negative news this morning. Weekly jobless claims jumped more than expected, suggesting more weakness in the labor market. Also, pending home sales dropped to their lowest level on record for the month of January. But right now, the Dow Jones Industrials are up 339 points. That's the latest news. Weather is up next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
10:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand. You can find me on Twitter, True Social, and Instagram at Chris Hand on Air. Hit the follow button. I will follow back. I really will. So find me at Chris Hand on Air. I do appreciate it. I'm constantly on social media. Just digging. I don't know. I don't even know what I'm digging for, but I'm digging. At Chris Hand on Air. You can watch the show, Super Talk TV. We're live on YouTube. Go over there, hit the like, hit the subscribe, and download the YouTube app for your TV. That's how my wife watches. Hi, Virginia. So there's lots of ways, and we appreciate you no matter how you're listening. And if you miss anything you want to share with a friend, podcasts are always available on Apple and Spotify. We got a massive party coming up, March 4th, Nashville Palace. The entire squad. Like, everybody. We're rolling so deep. Mandis, Murphy, Benson, Wilson, Jones, Weaver, and myself, plus you guys, our closest friends. It's going to be the first time that we're hanging out since the election, which is crazy. A lot has transpired since then, and it's going to be a party. Nashville Palace, 997WTN.com for tickets. Again, that is Tuesday, March 4th. We want to see you out there. Tickets get you reserved seating, access to a massive buffet spread, and some drink tickets. 997WTN.com. Tickets are going fast. If you're planning on coming, I would suggest you get them sooner rather than later. 997WTN.com. Yesterday, we had the first cabinet meeting of Donald J. Trump, and I loved the way the media covered it. Like, Elon Musk, he's not even in the cabinet. Why is Elon Musk even there? And it's like, you guys remember that Joe Biden's last cabinet meeting was quite literally chaired by Jill Biden. Like, she was in the main chair. Was she in the cabinet? I mean, she was probably running the country. Her and Hunter.
And honestly, how many cabinet meetings did they actually have?
Oh, and you see some of them. Biden's first cabinet meeting, they were all wearing masks. They had their little face diapers on, and they had their 6 feet of separation, even though everybody knew that 6 feet of separation was an arbitrary number that they made up and didn't mean anything. Losers. We have witnessed the biggest upgrade in American history when it comes to Donald Trump's cabinet, and everybody across the world's taken notice. You're seeing the massive numbers of investments coming into the country. You're hearing people from, Japanese business leaders like, I would have never made this investment when Biden was in office. There's just no way. And Apple's coming back. They're investing $500 billion over 4 years. It's just unbelievable. It's unbelievable what he's doing in such a short time. And Trump was talking about that yesterday. Since the election, confidence in the nation, sky high.
So since the election, the confidence in our nation, including right track, wrong track, the first time it's ever happened where we were on the right track, because this country has been on the wrong track for a long time. So the confidence in business, confidence in the country has reached an all-time high. We have never reached levels like we are right now.
And the proof is in the pudding. You just got to check the pudding. You know, that Biden used to always say, the proof is in the pudding. No. And the Democrats try to rail against this as best they can. Tim Walz was out there. He was at, what was he at? He was at an event. This is at an event for nurses, which is, I mean, maybe that's the only place you can get paid to speak now, at an event for nurses. And I'm not disparaging nurses. Don't get that twisted. But he's at an event for nurses. And these are the talking points that they have against Trump right now. And it's like they haven't learned a damn thing. Waltz was caught on tape saying that the country has been stolen and taken over by fascists and Nazis. He's speaking to a room of nurses. Like, know your audience. And he said, we've been taken over by fascists and Nazis.
You see the nonsense that's being put forward on that. We're going to need your voice there, because I would just end with this. And we're seeing it in these town halls. That charismatic leader's not going to come there. You know, I see the pundits on TV. What's wrong with the Democratic Party? What's wrong is our country's being stolen by fascists and Nazis, and we're trying to do all we can to try and do it.
Oh, yeah. That's right, Tim. The country's being stolen by fascists and Nazis. And who would have guessed that all these business leaders would be like, man, I want to invest with fascists and Nazis. That's That's where I want to make my business investment. Who would have guessed that the American people would so highly approve of fascists and Nazis? It's alarming. It's alarming. But Trump is just playing tough, man. He's playing tough with other countries. He's not backing down, and he's pushing for peace through strength. He's doing a lot of things the right way. And he said yesterday at this cabinet meeting that tariffs are incoming. Canada and Mexico are still on notice, and we do have tariffs on the table. They are coming April 2nd.
We've lost millions of people due to fentanyl. It comes mostly from China, but it comes through Mexico and it comes through Canada. And I have to tell you that, on April 2nd, I was going to do it on April 1st, but I'm a little bit superstitious, so I made it April 2nd. The tariffs go on, not all of them, but a lot of them. And I think you're going to see something that's going to be amazing. We've been taken advantage of as a country for a long period of time. We've been tariffed, but we didn't tariff. Now, I did when I was here. We took in $700 billion from China. $700 billion. Not one president in the history of our country took in 10 cents from China. At the same time, China respected us. Now, when COVID came in, that was a different deal. I used to call it the China virus. I guess I can call it the China virus again, but it's an accurate term, but I won't do that out of respect to China.
He's just a beast. But tariffs back on the table for Canada and Mexico is the big thing there. Trump is not playing around. He's playing hardball with our enemies and our allies, and I like it. This country is not going to be taken advantage of anymore. Period. We're not going to be taken advantage of by our own government. We're not going to be taken advantage of by other governments, whether they're allies or foes. And you're seeing it on the world stage work in excellent ways. You got Zelensky. I think Zelensky's coming this week, or it might be next week, to sign the rare earth mineral deal with Trump. That's a huge step on the way to peace. It actually gives America a return on the investment. It gives us a stake in protecting Ukraine, and it's going to make things go very, very smooth. J.D. Vance at the cabinet meeting was talking about how these negotiations are playing out and how the media covers them so dishonestly. And Vance, he's just been incredible, man. I do think he's the favorite for 2028, and it's statements like this.
I mean, look, as the president said, we're not going to do the negotiation in public with the American media. He's going to do it in private with the president of Russia, with the president of Ukraine, and with other leaders. And I think that's how this has to go. I think I just want to push back against some of the criticism I've seen of the administration on this, because every single time the president engages in diplomacy, you guys preemptively accuse him of conceding to Russia. He hasn't conceded anything to anyone. He's doing the job of a diplomat, and he is, of course, the diplomat in chief as the president of the United States.
It's absolutely right. And it's not even just Ukraine and Russia. You can go down the line. When the stuff happened with Canada and Mexico and the tariffs in the first place, everybody's like, oh no, we're going to be in a trade war with Canada. We can never win that. And then Canada bent the knee in 24 hours? Mexico bent the knee immediately. You saw Colombia bend the knee. It's like we shouldn't be negotiating in public all the time. Trump does use it to his advantage. But the point that JD's making there, that every single time he engages in diplomacy, the American media preemptively accuses him of being an absolute failure at best, and something like a Russian agent at worst. The American media is so dishonest, and nobody believes him anymore. Nobody believes him anymore. Like the big spending bill, the big beautiful bill that's gone through the House. The framework is there. It's going to lower taxes, keep the Trump tax cuts, and this is a big deal. But you'll see the media covering it, and they'll say, you're going to cut Medicare and Medicaid and Social Security. Why are you doing this? And it's like, how many times has he said that he's not going to do that? Even yesterday at the cabinet meeting, this came up again.
The spending bill that passed last night aims to cut $2 trillion.
Right.
Can you guarantee that Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security will not be touched?
Yeah, I mean, I have said it so many times, you shouldn't be asking me that question. Okay? This will not be read my lips. It won't be read my lips anymore. We're not going to touch it. Now, we are going to look for fraud. I'm sure you're okay with that, like people that shouldn't be on, people that are illegal aliens and others. criminals in many cases. And that's with Social Security. We have a lot of people. You see that immediately when you see people that are 200 years old that are being sent checks for Social Security. Some of them are actually being sent checks. So we're tracing that down, and I have a feeling that Pam is going to do a very good job with that. But you have a lot of fraud. But no, I'm not. We're not doing anything on this.
So, I mean, how many times do you have to say it? You know, and they shout the same thing when it comes to Doge. Oh, he's going to cut Medicare and Medicaid and Social Security. And it's like, no, you don't understand. None of that's going to survive without Doge. Like, it's just not. I made the point a couple weeks back, or maybe a week ago. It doesn't really matter when I made the point, but the point stands. In my entire adult life, I never had any faith that I'm going to get a Social Security check. I just don't until Doge started. Now with the cuts that could be incoming, I do feel like maybe that program will be saved. Possibly. I hope so. I've been paying into it my whole life, you know. But we're $37 trillion in debt. Things have to change. And things are changing very, very rapidly. We spoke at the beginning of the show. We're waiting for the Epstein info to drop. Take it with a grain of salt. Keeping my expectations low so my disappointment isn't massively high, because I feel like I've gotten my excitement up on the Epstein list over and over and over again. I do have a little bit more hope this time, because I feel like the people Trump is putting in place are demanding accountability across the board. Whether it's at the EPA with Lee Zeldin getting that $200 billion back, that the gold bars that the Biden administration were throwing off the Titanic, or Kristi Noem, who gets $59 million back that they were trying to spend on hotels for illegal aliens. Like, you're seeing accountability across a lot of levels of the government. So I do have a little bit more hope this time. But accountability has been the name of the game. Hegseth yesterday at the cabinet meeting said accountability is coming for the disastrous Afghanistan withdrawal. About damn time. About damn time.
We're doing a complete review of every single aspect of what happened with the botched withdrawal of Afghanistan, and plan to have full accountability. It's one of the first things we announced at the Defense Department for that reason, sir. Certainly, General Raising Kane, who's on his way in, was not a part of that. Instead, was a part of leading the effort against ISIS by untying the hands of warfighters and finishing the job properly, and then bringing our troops home. So we're taking a very different view, obviously, than the previous administration, and there will be full accountability.
There will be full accountability. We're taking a very different view than the previous administration. I think that you can say that across many, many different levels, whether it's the border, the DOD, the budget, the EPA. That's not an understatement.
I don't see big promotions in that group. And I think
I don't see big promotions in that group either. But accountability needs to come for that Afghanistan withdrawal. Nope, nobody got punished for that. Nobody got fired. No, weird. I think actually the only guy that was held accountable for any of that was somebody who spoke out against the generals. I'm blanking on his name, but I remember that story. There was a soldier that spoke out against the generals on the Afghanistan withdrawal, saying how stupid that was, how it cost Americans their lives, and he was the only one that was reprimanded. Classic. But we're seeing change, and we're seeing change rapidly. Yesterday, the Supreme Court temporarily blocked a judge's order giving the Trump administration a midnight deadline to release billions of dollars in U.S. foreign aid. That's fantastic. Chief Justice Roberts said the order issued by U.S. District Judge Amir H. Ali will remain on hold until the High Court has a chance to weigh in more fully. Yep. I'm here for it. Trump is he's making some moves. He's grabbing the credit cards of a lot of these government officials, saying no more spending for at least 30 days. I'll bring you that story when we get back. It's a good one. It is 10:20 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. You hear me talking about my friends at Better Water LLC all the time. Do you know what's in your water? I mean, honestly, do you? It could be some nasty stuff. We're talking E. coli, sulfur, just nasty bacteria. And this is the water that you're drinking, you're bathing your kids in. Oh, it's awful. Maybe you think your water's good. Are you sure, though? Have you had it tested? Do you have that peace of mind? You know, Better Water will test your water for free. And then if you need to get your water cleaned up, man, they got a ton of options. From reverse osmosis to water filters, water softeners, and more. They can do it all for you, and they can do it at a fantastic price. Talk to Better Water LLC today. You can jump on their website, betterwater.com. That's betterwater.com. Or you can give them a phone call, 615-355-6063. Brandy and Craig, they'll answer your call. They'll send somebody out to test your water, 615-355-6063. Better Water LLC, betterwater.com.
Why Robert F. Kennedy Jr. says it's not time to panic over a current measles outbreak. Also, no more grace period. President Trump's tariffs are coming. Those stories coming up at 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Joan Jones. 24 minutes past the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Checking Twitter, still no Epstein list. Still no info. It's now almost 11:30 on the East Coast, so I feel like the skeleton in the rocking chair. I'm just waiting. Just waiting. There's cobwebs. I'm waiting. It's embarrassing, right? We should have this list by now. So I thought this was day one. I thought this was a day one thing. Oh, well. We'll keep you updated should that become available. Should it be released, we'll have it for you right here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I know, I'll be honest with you, every single one of us hopes that it drops during our show. So myself and Benson and Murphy, all of us, we're all itching for it to drop during our show. Mandis was hoping it would drop during his show. Well, yeah, that didn't happen. And the more we get through my show, the more disappointed I am. Donald Trump has ordered a 30-day freeze on the use of U.S. government credit cards. What a dictator. This is tyranny. Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. How much can we save? in 30 days of freezing U.S. government credit cards. He's directed federal agencies on Wednesday to implement a 30-day freeze on the use of government-issued credit cards as part of his latest executive order. The order implements the DOGE Cost Efficiency Initiative, which aims to ensure that government spending is transparent and government employees are accountable to the American public. The pause of credit card usage comes a week after DOGE discovered nearly $40 billion in spending last year linked to government-issued credit cards. To the maximum extent permitted by law, all credit cards held by agencies' employees shall be treated as frozen for 30 days from the date of this order, reads the section on credit cards. The order includes exceptions for any credit cards held by employees engaged in or charges related to employees utilizing such credit cards for disaster relief or natural disaster response benefits or operations or other critical services as determined by the agency heads in consultation with DOGE. The cost-cutting program, led by billionaire Elon Musk, has pledged to simplify the federal government's credit card program, which is managed by the GSA, that's the General Services Administration. New York Post has the whole story. U.S. government currently has 4.6 million active credit cards or credit card accounts on file, more than the total number of federal workers. So there's 3 million federal workers. There's 4.6 million federal credit cards. The math ain't mathin', right? The math just ain't mathin'. Now, this doesn't include government contractors and active duty military personnel. That's just the federal employees. 3 million federal employees, 4.6 million active credit cards or credit card accounts on files. Around 90 million unique transactions were made on the cards in fiscal year 2024, running up about $40 billion in bills. Insanity. DOGE is working with agencies to simplify the program and reduce admin costs, the group wrote on X last week. Credit cards linked to major banks are issued to federal employees in more than 250 federal agencies and Native American tribal governments in order to make purchases on behalf of the federal government in support of their agency's mission, according to GSA. For decades, the federal government has been plagued with scandals involving the use of taxpayer-funded credit cards. Over the years, government watchdogs have found everything from adult entertainment to Lego toys, to lavish multi-course meals being charged to taxpayers. It's got to stop. It's got to stop. Adult entertainment. Yeah. Smart money's on the NSA employees that were in those chats. That's just all I'm saying. That's probably who was using that. Or CIA. CIA would definitely be doing adult entertainment. And the Trump administration is cutting now 90% of USAID's foreign aid contracts. This is also from the New York Post. Trump administration plans to roughly eliminate about $60 billion in foreign aid spending and terminate 92% of grants issued by the U.S. Agency for International Development, USAID, USAID. The figures were included in a State Department memo detailing the results of a 90-day review of U.S. foreign aid ordered by Donald Trump. The audit identified nearly 15,000 grants and targeted almost 10,000 for elimination, the majority of which were issued by USAID. So people say, they're not doing anything. Elon Musk is not actually saving you money. And it's, that's not true. The Trump administration is planning to eliminate roughly $60 billion in foreign aid spending. And especially when it comes to USAID, you can absolutely point to DOGE and the exposure of USAID as a big reason why this is happening. See, you got to know where the government's spending your money. You got to. You just have to. There's a lot more on DOGE. Democrats are absolutely melting down. And I have some comments from Elon at the cabinet meeting. When we return, it's 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. It is now 10:30, and I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Got a mess for you on 65 in the southbound lanes, right at the exit for I-24 downtown. That would be exit 86. There's a crash, and it is blocking off the right lane, causing a big delay around it as well. A child in West Texas who was not vaccinated for measles has died after contracting the illness. Asked about the outbreak yesterday during the cabinet meeting with President Trump, HHS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. says his staff is keeping tabs on it.
We're watching it. We put out a post on it yesterday, and we're going to continue to follow it. Incidentally, There have been 4 measles outbreaks this year. In this country last year, there were 16. So it's not unusual. We have measles outbreaks every year.
Many of the outbreaks happen in Mennonite communities. President Trump says his 1-month grace period is over for Mexico and Canada.
President Trump says in a social media post his proposed 25% tariffs on all products coming into the U.S. from Canada and Mexico will go into effect on March 4th after a 1-month pause. The president has said these tariffs are necessary because Canada and Mexico haven't done enough to stop the flow of fentanyl across the U.S. border. Government data shows less than 1% of fentanyl seizures take place along the U.S.-Canada border.
ABC's Karen Travers. He's also tacking on a 10% tariff to China's already 10% tariffs. That'll bring it to 20%. A Brentwood-based company is teaming up with Immigration and Customs Enforcement on the effort to capture and deport illegal aliens. Core Civic owns and manages private prisons and detention centers nationwide. It says it's agreed to provide space for nearly 800 detainees at 3 of its facilities to ICE in Ohio, Nevada, and Oklahoma. That's the latest news. We've got weather up next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Thank you, Joan. It's Chris Hand here for my friends at United Structural Systems, USS. When you're looking for the best in foundation repair, concrete leveling, or waterproofing, look no further than USS. They've been doing this work in Middle Tennessee since 1994, and they aren't going anywhere. You just look no further than the Google reviews. Got a review here. These gentlemen were not only highly professional, but also punctual, meticulous, and incredibly respectful of my own property, treating it as if it were their own. They maintained a clean and organized work environment throughout the process, which I truly appreciate given the scale of the project. If I ever need any structural or foundation work in the future, USS will be my first and only call. I highly recommend them to anyone in the need of top-tier foundation repair services, 5 stars all the way. The only thing I'd argue with in that review is you're probably not going to need USS again, because these guys are going to come through your house, create a custom plan for you, and I don't know if you're going to need them again. Now, if you do, they give you a warranty that is good for life. Even if you leave the home, the warranty can stay. That's how confident these guys are in their work. That's how they've gained over 30,000 satisfied customers. You'll be satisfied as well. USS, they guarantee their best. 615-488-7855. 615-488-7855. Online at USSTN.com.
Did you know you're overpaying for your health and wellness products?
With over 20 company-owned brands offering its members vitamins, supplements, wellness, and skincare products, you're able to save up to 70% off retail.
Members Nutrition can't change your life, but we can change the way you live.
37 minutes past the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. You can listen to us on the iHeartRadio app, the TuneIn app. You can watch us on Super Talk TV. We're live on Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, and our personal favorite, YouTube. Shout out to the YouTube chat. We have a live chat that goes on the YouTube page. It's the most red-pilled chat in history. Hail to the chat. While you're over on YouTube, hit like and subscribe. We do appreciate it. You can even get notifications when we go live. That's nice. That's a nice little feature. And if you're watching on your TV at home, like my wife does, you can hit the thumbs up there as well and continue to like it. You don't have to be on the desktop version or on the app or on your phone. You know, more people are watching YouTube on their TVs now than mobile devices and laptops.
Yeah, it's kind of nuts.
It's crazy. So we're up there in HD above your fireplace or on your media center. Just hanging out. Just hanging out. So hit like, hit subscribe, watch us on YouTube. We do appreciate it. Elon Musk, yesterday at the cabinet meeting, highlighting what everybody already knows, and we've known for years and years and years. If we don't cut spending, we will go bankrupt. You always see the pearl clutching and the hand wringing, and the Democrats are screaming, he's going to cut Medicaid, he's going to cut Medicare, he's going to cut Social Security. What are we doing? And it's like, do you understand that if we don't course correct now, all of that goes away anyway? Like, it's not going to exist as it stands anyway. I think the Democrats know that, but don't let facts get in the way of a good talking point. This is Elon yesterday at that cabinet meeting. Oh my gosh, he's not even in the cabinet. Why do they let him speak? This is Elon yesterday.
The overall goal here with the Doge team is to help address the enormous deficit. We simply cannot sustain as a country $2 trillion deficits. The interest rates, just the interest on the national debt, now exceeds the Defense Department spending. We spend a lot on the Defense Department, but we're spending like over $1 trillion on interest. If this continues, the country will become de facto bankrupt.
We're halfway there, right? Like, I think the interest is already more than the defense spending. It's insane.
It's not an optional thing; it is an essential thing.
Yep.
That's the reason I'm here, and taking a lot of flack and getting a lot of death threats. By the way,
yeah, he's getting a lot of death threats, and you're seeing like Tesla dealerships shot up. There's one news story going around where they're like, "Oh, a woman defaced a Tesla truck," and it's like, it wasn't a woman. It was a man dressed as a woman. But okay. People hate Elon. Even radical leftists are putting like bumper stickers on their Tesla and be like, "I bought this before Elon went crazy," and then their cars are getting spray painted with swastikas. There was one story. I think it was Portland. The guy had a swastika spray painted on his Tesla, and he's like, "Why did you do this?" He's like, "The money I spent to clean up the swastika, I could have donated to the DNC." It's like, oh gosh, these people. Some of them I feel like are helpless. They just don't understand. No matter what, they're so in that leftist liberal echo chamber. They can't be saved. Some people can be, and you look at the polling across the country, overwhelmingly supportive of Elon Musk's efforts to help cut government spending. We're overwhelmingly supportive of that as well because it's not optional. Like I said to my wife all the time, I was like, my time here is done. I peaked. Like, I got to worry about the kids and I got to worry about the grandkids. We cannot leave them worse off than when we started. And it seems like we're trending in that direction. We need to get the spending under control.
I'd like to stack them up, but if we don't do this, America will go bankrupt. That's why it has to be done. And I'm confident at this point, knock on wood, knock on my wooden head, there's got a lot of wood up there, that we can actually find $1 trillion in savings. That would be roughly 15% of the $7 trillion budget. And obviously that can only be done with the support of everyone in this room. And I'd like to thank everyone for your support. Thank you very much. This can only be done with your support. So it's really, Doge is a support function for the president and for the agencies and departments to help achieve those savings and to effectively find 15% in reduction in fraud and waste. And we bring the receipts. So people say, like, well, is this real? Just go to doge.gov. we line item by line item, we specify each item. So, and I should say, we will make mistakes. We won't be perfect, but when we make a mistake, we'll fix it very quickly.
I think that's the best way to go about it. Just that brutal honesty of like, yep, we're going to screw something up, and we're going to find that out the hard way, and we're going to try and fix it immediately. I will say this, I paid attention to a lot of the body language in the room. There are definitely some cabinet members who aren't thrilled about Elon Musk cutting their budget. Let's be perfectly honest. There's going to need to be some strong arming by the president to get them in line. Period. This is not optional. This needs to happen. Like, we're on a mission to save the country. That's not hyperbole. Like, we actually have to do this. Deal with it. And then you get the Democrats just screaming and yelling and crying. This was Schumer yesterday talking about Doge. And he said, what kind of a businessman would come in and take a slash and burn approach?
With respect, not with the contempt we see from Doge. And no good business operator would take the slash and burn approach Doge is taking.
I would disagree with that. If you're coming in to turn around a company, yep, you do a slash and burn as quickly as you possibly can. I know we got a lot of business owners in the listening area. I'm sure that you guys feel the same way. This is actually what you need to do. And then Chuck Schumer goes to the classic narrative of the left currently. What about Social Security? Will somebody think of Social Security?
People's Social Security benefits are also at risk.
Again, I think that they're more at risk if we sit here and do nothing and sit on our hands and continue spending ourselves into oblivion. I don't think if we sit on our hands, I don't think I'm getting a Social Security check. I'm 36, and there's no reasonable way I can expect that. If we cut $1 trillion in spending, and we increase the money we're taking in, then yeah, maybe we do. Maybe we do get some Social Security checks for my fellow millennials. If we don't, no, I don't believe that at all. And then you get other radical leftists who are so anti-Elon Musk that they become anti-immigrant. This is a weird one. Rep. Marcy Cater. Marcy is a Democrat out of Ohio.
Mr. Musk has just been here 22 years, and he's a citizen of 3 countries. I always ask myself the question, with the damage he's doing here, when push comes to shove, which country is he loyalty to? South Africa? Canada? Or the United States? And he's only been a citizen, I'll say again, 22 years.
No, only 22 years. That treasonous son of a gun. Like, what is she saying? Elon Musk is not loyal to the country. That's what you're going with. He's playing the long game. He's a sleeper agent for South Africa. Is that where you're going with? Okay. Heck of a strategy. He's a sleeper agent for South Africa and Canada. And in South Africa, they've been biding their time for 22 years, waiting for this moment where they can overtake America. Okay. And even more funny is thinking that about the 51st state. It's just, these are the Democrats. And what are they so upset about? Oh, there was an email. They sent an email asking what they did last week.
1 million employees have responded so far to this email. Does that mean that the remaining 1 million or so federal employees now risk being terminated? And is it your understanding and expectation when you post a directive on X that the cabinet secretaries will follow that order? Because several agencies have instructed employees that this is voluntary or not to respond.
Yeah, well, I mean, so I guess it was like last week, the president encouraged me via Truth Social and also via phone call to be more aggressive. And I was like, okay, yes, sir, Mr. President, we will indeed do that. The president is the commander-in-chief. I do what the president asks. And I said, can we send out an email to everyone just saying what did you get done last week? And the president said yes, so it did that. We got a partial response. We're going to send another email. But our goal is not to be capricious or unfair. We want to give people every opportunity to send an email. And the email could simply be, what I'm working on is too sensitive or classified to describe. Like literally just, that would be sufficient.
The email request is not the craziest thing in the world. It never was. What did you do last week? 5 things, bullet points. The issue is most of these government employees didn't do anything last week. It's the old 80-20. 20% of government employees are doing 80% of the work. The other ones are just collecting a check, and it's so hard to fire these people. Answer the damn email.
I think this is just common sense.
And what is your target number for how many workers, employees you're looking to cut total?
We wish to keep everyone who is doing a job that is essential and doing that job well. But if the job is not essential or they're not doing the job well, they obviously should not be on the public payroll.
Now, we want to keep everybody that's essential. I think that's a nice way of saying we want to cut a lot of these jobs. And I hope that they do. And then Trump jumps in and he says, listen, just because you responded to the email doesn't mean you're not on the bubble.
I'd like to add, wait. I'd like to add that those million people that haven't responded, though, Elon, they are on the bubble. I wouldn't say that we're thrilled about it. They haven't responded. Now, maybe they don't exist. Maybe we're paying people that don't exist. Don't forget, we just got here. This group just got here. But those people are on the bubble, as they say. Maybe they're going to be gone. Maybe they're not around. Maybe they have other jobs. Maybe they moved and they're not where they're supposed to be. A lot of things could have happened. I wouldn't say that Biden ran a very tight administration. They spent money like nobody's ever spent money before. Wasted money. The Green New scam, all of
He said, I wouldn't say Biden has ran a tight administration. I feel like that's the nicest way Donald Trump could put it. We wouldn't say that Biden has ran the tightest administration. No, he spent money like drunken sailors. And they inflated the workforce, the federal workforce, by like 40%. Like all the jobs Biden was creating was in the federal workforce. It's insanity. And then you get federal workers crying. There was another one yesterday. You had federal workers go into the Capitol. They were gathering to tell their stories. They were telling their stories. And there was one federal worker. She's like, I'm just an accountant, and I'm a patriot. I'm doing this job because I love it. I could get paid more in the private sector. It's like, well, then why aren't you working in the private sector? Maybe it's because you actually have to do work.
Can you tell us what your message is to these senators while we're walking?
I think it's really cruel to fire people for poor performance when they've only had great feedback.
I think it's really cruel to fire people for poor performance when they've only had great feedback. Those two things don't add up.
We've never had an issue with our performance, and we're doing work for the American public. We're here for safety, and we're patriots. We love our country. That's why we're taking these jobs that don't pay us in the private sector. I'm an accountant. I could get a private sector job tomorrow, but...
She said, I'm an accountant. I could get a private sector job tomorrow. Well, then you should have took the buyout deal, dummy. Like, what are you doing? You would have got paid eight months on that buyout deal, which I think was like 77,000 federal employees took. You could have been paid for 8 long months and got that private sector job tomorrow. You could have had double the salary for 8 months, and you didn't take it. Again, this is the issue that we have with federal employees. Not exactly the brightest. They're not. I don't want to paint with a broad brush, but let's be real. Let's be real. It's 10:52 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I'm Chris Hand here for my friends at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We keep talking about these winter clearance deals, and they are almost gone. Do you need a new heater? Well, Busy Bee is cleaning out their 2024 inventory to make room for the 2025 models, and they're passing the savings along to you. How about this? A 14-SEER, 1.5 to 3-ton split heat pump model for just $6,997. It's an incredible deal. And if you're one of the first 25 customers to take that deal, they're going to bundle in a smart thermostat with that for free. And maybe you don't need to replace the whole unit. That's cool. Maybe you just need to maintain the unit you have. Keep it in tip-top shape. Well, Busy Bee can help you there as well. Join the Beehive Club today. Just $99 per unit. It'll get you 3 annual tune-ups, 10% off all repairs, front-of-the-line service, a $100 annual accrued replacement credit, no overtime or holiday fees, and exclusive Beehive member promotions. And all month long in February, you buy 1 Beehive Club membership, you get one of equal or lesser value for free. That's Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, 615-775-7833, 615-775-7833, online at busybeehvac.com.
Weather can change in an instant, and you need to be prepared for any outcome. That's why Generator Supercenter of Nashville will help keep your family safe and connected. We make buying a backup generator simple and easy, with financing options available, free in-home estimate, turnkey installations, no worry warranty, and most importantly, the monitoring and service of your fully installed generator. Come see us at our location in Nashville or visit us online. Generator Supercenter of Nashville. We serve all Middle Tennessee.
All right, drivers, rolling roadblocks left 2 lanes to fix potholes, 40 westbound at 28th Avenue, and then a crash blocking the right lane, 65 southbound at I-24 downtown. The Trump administration winning a temporary legal victory in the battle over its freeze of $2 billion in foreign aid. I've got that and more coming up at 11 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
You tired of winning yet? I'm not tired of winning. We need some more wins on the board.
Especially me, because I'm an Oklahoma Sooner fan.
It'll be okay, buddy.
We had a rough year, man.
It'll be all right. It'll be all right.
Yay, sports.
If anybody wants to console Ken over the rough year with the Oklahoma Sooners, you can do so at our party.
That's right.
Nashville Palace. You like that segue? Nashville Palace, March 4th. The whole squad's going to be out there. Mandis, Murphy, Benson, Wilson, Weaver, Jones, and myself. We're rolling deep. We want you there. Nashville Palace, March 4th. Joint session of Congress. DJT. Murphy's cutting his hair. And if it's a sellout, he's going full buzz cut. I still, listen,
He's trying to wiggle out of it, man.
Is he?
Yeah, he's getting all technical now.
Don't let him. Don't let him. Buy your tickets now. He said if it's a sellout, he's going buzz cut. 997WTN.com. I may be one of the only ones, but I think this city deserves a Murphy with a mullet. I think I've been arguing for this, and he turns me down every time. I think he needs a mullet.
Oh, is that Theo Vaughn on the Matt Murphy show?
I think Murphy could do it better than Theo. I
think so too. I think
he could. I think it would look good.
Murphy, I mean, he looks good with his hair the way it is right now, man. I think he'd look good in a mullet.
When doesn't Murphy look good?
That's fair. That's fair.
It's a good-looking man. If you've never seen him in person, you can watch him on Super Talk TV, like you can watch us over on YouTube, or you can join us March 4th, Nashville Palace. Tickets at 997WTN.com. Good-looking guy there, that Matt Murphy.
He's a good-looking guy.
Don't say his name again. I think if you say it one more time, he calls the hotline.
That's true.
If you say his name 3 times, he'll call in.
Any variation.
Yep. I've heard that if you're in the bathroom and you turn the lights off, you say his name 3 times, and then you flip the lights on real quick, he's just all of a sudden he's behind you yelling about government spending. It's terrifying. It's terrifying. Speaking of government spending, the Data Republican has been on a slew of interviews. I don't know if you follow this X account, but Data Republican's been fantastic. And she's going on all these interviews. She was on News Nation last night, and she said if the American people knew what we were spending money on, we would have a revolution.
Now we understand that the people who are yelling the loudest are the ones who probably have the most to hide.
Facts.
Yes, exactly.
And also another important thing is that the NGOs hate people knowing what they're doing. That's why they're always hiding. Their power depends on the fact that we don't know what's going on. They understand that if the American people knew what they were doing with our money, we would all absolutely have a revolution against them.
Big fan of Data Republican. I don't know if you've been following her on X. Worth the follow. She's Doge adjacent. She's a good one. I got updates on the way on the border. Wait until you hear how many illegal aliens this administration has arrested in 1 month versus how many illegal aliens were arrested by the previous administration in 1 year. We'll tell you that next on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Eleven o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast coming up in 5 minutes. And here in Middle Tennessee, we have learned the Brentwood stabbing suspect has died. He was shot by a neighbor yesterday afternoon, where police were called to the scene of a man who had been stabbing a woman outside a home on Lost Hollow Road. News 2's Ellie Shiva Wembley picks it up from there.
Now she's recovering in the hospital. We're told a neighbor nearby tried to stop the stabbing by pulling a gun on the man. The neighbor then fired at the man with the knife multiple times.
That man was shot, taken to surgery, and then this morning we have learned that he has died. Police are still investigating. No charges so far. By the way, the woman, again, is recovering. The Pentagon moving to disqualify transgender service members from the military within 30 days. That revelation comes in a court filing from a lawsuit by 6 transgender service members. They are challenging the Trump administration's order that says the federal government recognizes only 2 sexes. It also says anyone who suffers from gender dysphoria will be fired. The National Institutes of Health estimates there are 8,000 transgender people on active duty. Bad news about egg prices. Those prices expected to climb another 41% this year. ABC News chief business and economics correspondent Rebecca Jarvis says the Trump administration's rolling out $1 billion plan to ease the cost.
One of the big questions is how do you deal with the birds when the flu has been detected? The U.S. requires the culling of the entire flock to stop the spread because the disease is so highly contagious, but it can take 9 months to repopulate. That means a long time before you get that supply back. And according to the Agriculture Secretary, prices are likely to go higher into the spring and Easter. That's high season generally for egg prices, but they could ease with these measures this summer.
Trump administration won a temporary legal victory in the battle over its freeze of $2 billion in foreign aid. The Supreme Court overnight delaying a midnight deadline for the government to release the funding after the administration argued the deadline was impossible to meet. We get more from Devin Dwyer.
The Chief Justice basically hit the pause button. John Roberts asked the aid groups to respond to the Trump administration's request by noon tomorrow, and I'd expect then the Supreme Court to weigh in very quickly after that time whether or not this district court judge here in Washington exceeded his authority when he ordered the government to keep the money flowing.
Investigators in Santa Fe, New Mexico, looking into the deaths of 95-year-old Oscar-winning actor Gene Hackman, his wife, and their dog, all found deceased inside of their home. Here's Alex Stone.
Well, the Santa Fe County Sheriff's Department is releasing surprisingly little, except to say that Gene Hackman, his wife, and dog are dead and that there is no foul play. Law enforcement experts say carbon monoxide has to be looked at if there are no signs of foul play. We know it had been cold in the area. We checked and electricity had stayed on, but carbon monoxide coming from a heater or a fireplace could always be an issue.
That is the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
.1107 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. We're live. iHeartRadio, tune in, the FM dial, and on YouTube. Super Talk TV is live. If you want to watch the show on your TV screen, your laptop, your mobile device, you can. Hit like and subscribe while you're there. That's the thumbs up. Also, though, we are in the business of tickling the algorithm. And it gets tickled just as much if you dislike it. So if you genuinely dislike the show, feel free. Feel free to dislike.
No hate from us. Just acceptance.
Yeah. We're all about inclusion, and we want to include the people that hate us. So hit like or dislike. I do appreciate it. That's over on YouTube. We've been doing pretty good on YouTube. It's growing, man. It's growing, and we're trying to incorporate more things into a visual nature on YouTube. Like the other day when we had the picture of Elon, his toes being sucked by Trump. So just high quality stuff.
Yeah. Just keep you guys entertained.
Just the best. Maybe we should start doing like a meme of the day on YouTube.
Ooh, I'm for it.
Where we can just we'll close out the show with the meme of the day.
That would be dope.
And we can just post a meme.
Yeah, man.
Because I am but a humble meme farmer. And that is, like my job is I do this here and I do some stuff with Turning Point USA. But my passion is memes.
You're a cultivator.
I'm just a humble meme farmer. That's where my passion is. We should do meme of the day.
I'm for it.
All right.
I'm absolutely here for it.
Yeah, we'll start that tomorrow. We'll do meme of the day, and then we'll do meme of the week.
Yeah.
You like that?
Friday's big meme of the week or actually, do you want to start at Monday?
Oh, dude, what if we did like meme madness for March? Are you allowed to do that, or are we going to get sued?
No, I think we're good.
You think, right? Like with meme madness?
I think we're good.
March memeness?
March memeness? Ooh.
I don't know. We'll check with some lawyers.
Yeah.
Also, we'll decide if it's worth the work because it sounds like a bit of a heavy lift. I'm not going to lie to you.
we cultivate, but it takes a lot of energy.
We have to fill out brackets. What? I didn't sign up for this.
Wait a second.
All right. There's a lot of things we did sign up for. One is what's happening down at the southern border. It has been absolutely incredible, the numbers that we're seeing. Now, I'm going to be the first one to tell you, still think they're rookie numbers. I still want these numbers to go higher and higher and higher as far as arrests and deportations go. But I think that this is going to put it into perspective at the state at which they're ramping things up. I've been the first to criticize that the numbers are low and we need to get these numbers up. But the Trump administration has announced that they've arrested almost as many migrants in a month as Biden did all last year. Whoa. That's pretty wild. The Trump administration's mass deportation raids have already taken 20,000 illegal aliens off the streets in the first month, which is almost as many as ICE caught under the Biden administration last year, the Department of Homeland Security said. Throughout all of last year, fiscal year 2024, arrests of at-large illegal aliens under the Biden administration was 33,000, according to DHS spokeswoman. And in 1 month, they've gotten 20,000. That's incredible. That is ramping up. Let's make no mistake about it. It's still dangerously low, and we need to do more. But it's a good start. It is a good start, and you got to give credit where credit is due. Tom Homan and those guys over at ICE and DHS, they're working. They're working their ass off. Let's not beat around the bush. This is a heavy lift. And you got people like Eric Prince over at Blackwater offering to help this go private. Eric Prince over at Blackwater, we talked about this yesterday. He said, I could be deporting 500,000 illegal aliens per month. We could get this done relatively quickly with a price tag of $25 billion. I hope that is at least looked at by the Trump administration. I do. Not sure that it will happen. But one can hope. I think that actually has more likelihood of happening than the Epstein list being released and those people being held accountable. But we'll find out. So in 1 month, the Trump administration has arrested 20,000 illegal aliens. Michael Moore, do you know Michael Moore, the director? Big guy, did Bowling for Columbine, that guy. He's really upset. He is so upset. He says, all these deported migrants, do you understand what we're doing to our country? He said these deported migrants could have cured cancer, or they could have stopped the asteroid that's going to hit us in 2032. Oh, well, why can't they do that in their home countries, Michael? Why not? He literally said, he wrote a long blog post. The New York Post is a story. I didn't read his blog post because I'm not giving him the clicks. But New York Post said he wrote a huge blog, and it's called "Our Muslim Boy Wonder." And he says, who's really being removed by ICE tonight? Moore asked. The child who could have discovered the cure for cancer in 2046? The 9th grade nerd who would have stopped the asteroid that's going to hit us in 2032? Do we care? Well, I don't. And I'll tell you why I don't. Because the people that he's saying could cure cancer, stop the asteroids, those people, let's look at some of their criminal history. These are the people who Michael Moore is saying could cure the cancer and stop the asteroids. Like one individual, Benicio Garcia. He's a 43-year-old citizen of Mexico, and he was operating a vehicle while intoxicated, causing death. Could have cured cancer. We got a Mexican national, Aaron Mendoza Lepe. He's 43 years old, citizen of Mexico, and he was arrested and convicted of possession of methamphetamines with intent to distribute. See, this guy could have cured cancer. Do you know how hard it is to cook meth? That's science. That guy could have. How about the Sudanese national convicted of rape in St. Paul, Minnesota? Obadiah Loreya, citizen of South Sudan. That guy could have stopped an asteroid. I could go on and on. It's such a joke. Mexican national convicted of criminal sexual misconduct of a minor. Yeah, that guy's stopping asteroids, Michael Moore. How about a Chinese national convicted of murder? Yeah, that guy could have cured cancer. Mexican national convicted of rape. Laotian national convicted of criminal sexual conduct. Yep, these are the people that Michael Moore is writing a blog about, saying they could have cured cancer. They could have stopped asteroids. Okay. Are you keeping score at home? Also, I love the narrative though. They could have cured cancer. They could have stopped asteroids. Okay. Can we apply that narrative to abortion? Oh no, leftists don't want to do that. Leftists they hate doing that. Yeah, let's apply it to abortion. How about what? Okay, let's go a different route. What about Jocelyn Nungary, the 12-year-old who was brutally raped and murdered by illegal aliens? What could she have done in her future? You see how asinine this is? Michael Moore is doing what every classic leftist does. He takes emotional manipulation and he uses it to push a narrative. And that kind of emotional manipulation, I mean, you can slice through it so quick. You just got to know you're being played. Unfortunately, rather large number of leftists have no idea that they're being played, but they are. They are. Oh, those Tren de Aragua members who were pulling the fingernails out of a female, if we hadn't deported them, they would have cured cancer. They're doing the jobs Americans don't want to do. You understand that, right? Your average American doesn't want to extort illegal alien females and pull out their fingernails. This is just jobs Americans don't want to do. We should be grateful that they're here. We should be grateful. Todd in Lafayette, you're up first on Super Talk. What's up, Todd?
How you doing, sir? Long time no talk to.
Man, I'm good. How about you?
I can't complain. I'm off work right now, and probably some of my coworkers are listening, so they're jealous of me riding around not doing anything.
I love it. You're basically a federal worker today.
Yeah, well, actually, I am. I'm a mail carrier.
Oh, jeez.
Remember, I was Todd 1 back
yes.
when you first got here.
Yes.
No. You and Mac.
Anecdotally speaking, we're still the number one show with mail carriers in Middle Tennessee.
Yes, you are. I completely agree. No, the point you was talking about that one dude that had, it said the migrant, the illegal immigrants could have cured cancer and cured, figured out cold fusion and all that stuff. the same thing can be said about abortion.
Yep.
I mean,
You're absolutely right.
It's ridiculous. I mean, they use I can't believe they're using that excuse when the same thing can be used, for abortions at the same time. It's so idiotic on how the liberals and Democrats or whoever you want to are going. They're losing their minds, and I love it.
Yep.
But they keep using the same ploys. I mean, they need to wake up and face music and find somebody new to try to, I don't know. I'm laughing. I mean, I have a good friend liberal, and they're losing their minds. They tell me every evening, what we're doing wrong and how it's going to be apocalyptic and stuff. And I just sit back and say, hey, guys, look, we put up with Biden for 4 years. It's your turn now.
Yep. I'm with you. Todd, I appreciate the call, man. Enjoy your day off, brother.
Be careful, man.
Hey, God bless. Hey, I have liberal family members too. I remember it was 2017. I was living in Mount Juliet, and I have an aunt and uncle, and they live in Hermitage, and they don't listen to the show. They lean left. But I remember my aunt. She said to me, she goes, "How do you feel about your president now?" So actually, I still like it. I think he's doing a great job, and I'm waiting for that same line of questioning the next time we get together. How do you feel about this? I've been a pretty big fan. I wish we would get more illegal aliens deported, and I wish we would get that Epstein list, which we're still waiting on, by the way. It's now 12:18 in D.C., and we still have not seen any of the Epstein info that Pam Bondi was talking about on Jesse Waters last night, and I'm just the skeleton in the rocking chair, cobwebs and dust. I don't know if we're going to see it. I don't know. The distinguished gentleman out of Lebanon, Tennessee, Calvin, is on the line. What's up, Calvin?
Hey, Chris.
How we doing, brother?
Hey, doing fine. How about you?
Man, I'm good. What do you got?
All right, I'll see you on the 4th, too.
Let's go. Calvin. Calvin's in the building.
Yeah.
I'm going to start promoting you being there, man. That'll get some tickets sold.
Well, there ain't much that gets us out, but good Trump news always gets us out. So.
I love it.
Hey, I've had a question for a while. When we deport these Mexicans, these illegals, whatever nationality they are.
Yep.
Now, I know right now we're focusing on the bad guys. Okay? They have possessions. Do we confiscate these possessions? And I mean, let's go past the bad guys. Let's take people that are good illegals that are here illegally. They have $100,000 equity in their home. Do we confiscate that? Do we confiscate their vehicles? Do we confiscate their boats? And if we did, are we, auctioning this stuff off and putting it towards the national debt?
I wish we would, but currently right now, the U.S. does not automatically take away property from people who are deported. Now, if you're a criminal illegal alien and they bust you selling a bunch of meth, well, then now you're in different territory and your possessions can be seized. I think if you're just, swept up in a raid and being deported, you're not necessarily losing your possessions. But it's a good question, man.
Okay.
They should.
And, hey, I wanted to say this, too. All these people are ranting and raving about, when you send them back our produce or this or that or the other. Let me tell you something. I'm in a business that is overrun with illegals. It's called construction.
Yep.
I've been competing with them for years, which I'm a pissant in this business. I just work myself. But when an American goes out and gives a bid or a quote on a job and they don't get a call back, they have to wonder, was it the illegal that has 15 or 20 in one dwelling and he can cut my throat all damn day long because his bills are nothing? So, that's my reason for being so hard on getting them back.
Yeah.
My business is overrun with illegals.
Yeah. And then you see things happen like when the tornadoes come and you realize that the houses weren't even properly secured to the foundations. And it's like, oh, geez, what are we doing?
Yeah, anything for the cheapest buck.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Calvin. Hey, looking forward to seeing you on the 4th, my man.
All right, thank you.
All right, brother. Yeah, so Calvin's going to be there. Everybody's going to be there. Mandis, Murphy, Benson, Wilson, Weaver, Jones, myself, and you. It's going to be at the Nashville Palace, March 4th, joint session of Congress, Donald J. Trump. Murphy is getting a haircut. I don't know if I'm more excited about him getting a haircut or Or not hearing Locks for Trump Day 3,981. I'm kidding, Matt. I love it. I
don't know. Maybe he restarts the clock with the shave.
Ooh. He should do day one with lost locks for Trump. All right, 997WTN.com for tickets to that party. Nashville Palace, March 4th. Murphy's going to get in there. He's doing his whole show live. That starts at 3 o'clock. Myself, Mandis, Benson, Wilson, we're going to roll in 4-ish, 5-ish. We're going to get going down to get to town on that buffet, which is going to be fantastic. That comes with your ticket. Drink tickets come with your ticket, and you can get those tickets at 997WTN.com. It's going to be a party, and we want to see you there. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Did you know you're overpaying for your health and wellness products?
With over 20 company-owned brands offering its members vitamins, supplements, wellness, and skincare products, you're able to save up to 70% off retail.
Members Nutrition can't change your life, but we can change the way you live.
All right, drivers, looks like we've got 40 westbound at 28th Avenue, a rolling roadblock. Left 2 lanes are blocked. And I'm getting a word that 24 eastbound is also very backed up. This because of some pothole repair there in, looks like Almaville. And reports say Oscar-winning actor Gene Hackman, his wife, and their dog had been dead for some time. We'll get you the latest on that coming up at 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Ken, at this point, is traffic on 24 even news, or is it just to be expected?
Dude, it's to be expected. I don't know if you've seen it yet or not, but there's a gray mattress in the left lane right there at Smyrna. Well, in between Smyrna and Laverne. It's been there for like 3 weeks.
Did I ever tell you the story about how my couch was on 24 for like weeks? Like,
No,
like
you
a month, like a month and a half. So we had this sectional sofa in like the Florida room that we have, and like the kids just trashed it. I mean, the boys were like throwing front flips on this
Sure.
So the part of it that was like kind of like a chase lounge was salvageable.
Yeah.
And for some reason, the rest of the couch had just been destroyed. That part was fine. So my wife said, well, let's try and sell it on Facebook Marketplace. I was like, okay, cool. And we had bought this couch in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And so we sold it on Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah.
And like 2 weeks later, I'm driving down 24. I'm like, is that the couch I bought in Pittsburgh? And I swear to you, it was my couch on 24. I didn't put it there, but I'm like, there's no way it wasn't mine. There is absolutely no way it wasn't mine. Somebody who bought it from us must have lost it out the bed of their truck or something.
Yeah.
And it just sat there for like a month and a half.
Yeah.
I know that soup stain anywhere.
Oh my gosh. It was like, and like I'd be driving, and then like I'd be like sending pictures of to my wife every morning. I'd be like, couch is still there. It's just like, how is this happening?
The couch potato check-in.
I don't know. That's 24 for you.
It is, man. I mean,
Sounds about
I've seen recliners, couches, mattresses.
It's insane.
Here pretty soon, the deer are going to start getting active.
They're showing up on 40. We got 3 that I counted this morning.
Yeah. That's always that's a pleasant sight.
The deers are one thing. I prefer armadillo season. One time we went from Murfreesboro to Chattanooga. We were going down there for the aquarium.
Yeah.
And I swear to you, we counted like 47 armadillos.
Dude, yeah, I went down for my cousin's wedding and we got up to 62.
It was insane.
Isn't that nuts?
Armadillo counting should be a sport in this state.
Oh my goodness.
It should. All right, we got a lot more to get to. Gavin Newsom is launching a podcast. Why? Wouldn't you think that the better thing to do at this current point in time would be fix California? He said, no, I'm going to start the Gavcast. We'll talk about that. Plus, Rachel Maddow talked a bunch of crap about MSNBC. She called the network that she's on a bunch of racists for firing Joy Reid, and, well, they retaliated. I'll tell you about that when we get back. It's 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. And here in Middle Tennessee, the Brentwood stabbing suspect has died after getting shot by a neighbor. This happened yesterday afternoon outside a home on Lost Hollow Road, where neighbors had called police to the scene where a man was stabbing a woman outside that home. A neighbor with a gun tried to intervene. The stabber ended up getting shot several times and has now passed away. Police are still investigating. No charges so far. By the way, the woman will recover. Reports say Oscar-winning actor Gene Hackman, his wife, and their dog had been dead for some time. Investigators in Santa Fe, New Mexico, looking into that. They were all found inside of their home after a welfare check. Here's Alex Stone.
Well, the Santa Fe County Sheriff's Department is releasing surprisingly little, except to say that Gene Hackman, his wife, and dog are dead and that there is no foul play. Law enforcement experts say carbon monoxide has to be looked at if there are no signs of foul play. We know it had been cold in the area. We checked and electricity had stayed on, but carbon monoxide coming from a heater or a fireplace could always be an issue.
Another Democrat press conference in Washington, D.C. This is House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries.
If Elon Musk and House Republicans are interested in identifying waste, fraud, and abuse, start with his contracts.
And a portion of I-40 in North Carolina to the Tennessee state line officially set to reopen to traffic on Saturday. One lane will be available in each direction, only 35 miles an hour through the area. I think I'll take an alternate route. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Many people on the text line are letting you know, Ken, that 24 has nothing on 65 when it comes to ladders. So
That's what I understand.
it's almost
stepping up.
Yeah. Stud Muffin on the text line said, "I miss all the free ladders on I-24." Hey, listen, if you find it on 24, it's free.
That's right.
Somebody suggested to me that I should have grabbed the couch and resold it on Facebook Marketplace.
You should have done it, brother.
And then a couple other people are making fun of me for the way I say couch.
Call it rustic.
That's your time in Boston,
That's
dude.
it.
Detroit.
I got rid of some of the accent, but then I picked up weird things. I would read street signs on the air on my way to the radio station for like an hour and a half.
Right.
When I worked in Boston to get rid of my Boston accent. And I got this weird Canadian thing when I say out and about and couch. So leave your Canuck jokes for somebody else.
That's right.
I'm not going to read them. It's Chris Hand here for my friend at Cover Nash, Shane Ring. You're not going to find good health insurance on the side of the highway, but you will find it with Cover Nash. Not only does Shane Ring have over 20 years of experience in health insurance, he's going to shop the entire market for you to find the best plan. 75 different companies to shop from, and every type of plan available in the market. Now, it doesn't matter what your income level is. It doesn't matter what your health situation is. You could be saving 30 to 60% on your monthly premiums with Shane. Some of the plans he offers could even pay you when you use them. You don't want to let someone you know or someone you love or even yourself get taken advantage of by some of these call center agents with limited and overpriced health coverage. Call Shane. He's going to save you some money, and he'll get you started today. 615-465-0023. Call Shane to reach out, get an appointment, or you can hit his website, covernash.com. The phone number again, 615-465-0023. To book an appointment with Shane Ring at Cover Nash, it's time for you to get a quality health plan managed by you, not the government, covernash.com.
Weather can change in an instant, and you need to be prepared for any outcome. That's why Generator Supercenter of Nashville will help keep your family safe and connected. We make buying a backup generator simple and easy, with financing options available, free in-home estimate, turnkey installations, no worry warranty, and most importantly, the monitoring and service of your fully installed generator. Come see us at our location in Nashville or visit us online. Generator Supercenter of Nashville. We serve all Middle Tennessee.
38 minutes past the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I'm Chris Hand. All of the chats, whether the Super Text line or the YouTube chat, have devolved into furniture on the highway talk. The show is brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. If you're watching over on YouTube, hit like, hit subscribe. We do appreciate it. I got kids to feed, so if you don't want them feasting on bread and water, it's up to you. Hit like, hit subscribe. Thank you.
I'd make that deal.
I'd make that deal.
I'll make that deal. How about you, Udovich? You make that deal?
It's a good deal.
I'd make that deal. I don't blame you. Damn good deal.
Help feed my kids. It's a good deal. It's free to do. Hit like and subscribe on YouTube. We appreciate it. Also, it helps us tickle the algo.
Just a little tickle.
You got to tickle the algo. One guy that's going to learn about tickling the algo, Gavin Newsom. Gavin Newsom, he's getting a podcast.
He's got to get those streams up.
I hope that this fails. I do.
Oh, I think it will.
Do you think that Gavin Newsom's podcast will be a bigger failure than California?
Ooh.
That's a tough one.
That's a hard toss-up.
That's a tough we ask the hard questions here.
I'm just ready to hear. This segment is brought to you by Medicare and Raycon.
Brought to you by, I don't know. I don't even know. What was the restaurant he went to? The French Laundry. Brought to you by the French Laundry.
Yeah.
Gavin Newsom is going to launch his own podcast, and get this. The point of the podcast is to talk to Republicans.
He's got to control the narrative.
This is unbelievable.
One stream at a time.
He said, we already know what our disagreements are with the MAGA movement. I want to understand what the motivations are, the legitimacy of those motivations, and just really understand where people are coming from. The motivations, sir, are making America great again. It's self-explanatory, really. I don't think you need to launch a podcast to figure it out. But why? Why? The podcast is going to be titled, This is Gavin Newsom. I think they missed an opportunity to call it the Gavcast.
The Gavcast.
That's what I would have called it. Right? It flows. Flows off the tongue. It's going to be produced by iHeart Podcasts. So they already feature some shows. They feature Politickin', which is a podcast that Newsom appears on. But his own podcast is going to have an interview format that will allow Newsom to focus heavily on political issues. He gave an interview with Politico about this, and he said that the podcast will emphasize dialogue with guests who hold opposing political views. I would like to be a guest on the Gavcast.
Oh.
Can we get me on the Gavcast?
I support this 100%.
I'm probably not a big enough name, but I would take that invitation. I would pay for my own flight and hotel.
I think you fit the criteria, opposing views.
I do have a lot of opposing views. I'm not going to lie to you.
Just a little bit.
He said, we already know our disagreements with the MAGA movement. I just want to understand what the motivations are, the legitimacy of those motivations, and just really understand where people are coming from. They are influential. They are. They explain more things in more ways on more days about what's going on. And if we're not trying to understand their motivations, we will be victims of their motivations. Dude, just fix California. Like, it shouldn't be a heavy lift. You destroyed San Francisco, you failed upwards, and now you're destroying California. I wonder, though, he knows he's not going to be the president, right? Like, or is this him gearing up for a 2028 run? It doesn't make any sense. The launch of Newsom's podcast comes amid speculation about the presidential ambitions and the Democrat Party seeking to counter the growing cultural influence of the Republican Party. The podcast space obviously was a huge part in Trump's strategy in 2024. He was going on everything. Rogan, Theo Vaughn. And to be perfectly honest with you, Kamala Harris had all of those same invitations. She could have employed the same exact strategy, but she knew she would have failed at it because she's not a real human being. She's one of those lizard people with no personality, no original thoughts. So I don't know. I feel like this is going to fail and fail hard. They'll probably try and prop it up as best they can with money. Somebody on the text line 4202 said, maybe Newsom will get red-pilled. I don't I don't think so. I don't see that coming. I don't see that coming. The internet reacted to the podcast in pure internet fashion. Dave Portnoy over at Barstool Sports said, when it comes to your podcast, let's start with why did you throw a party for yourself at the French Laundry with no masks in the middle of COVID when California had just about the strictest COVID regulations in the country and thousands of small businesses were going out of business because of said policies? That's a good place. It's a good place to start. Andrew Kerr NC on Twitter said, "Hi, Gavin. I would like to come on your show to discuss why your administration shut down a rock star wildfire team under your command, then lied to the public about their heroic accomplishments after I reported on your actions. Thanks, Andrew Kerr." John Dennis, real John Dennis, said what a lot of us probably think about the Gavcast. I'd rather pour acid in my ears than listen to a Gavin Newsom podcast. Would you rather listen to a Gavin Newsom podcast or watch Rachel Maddow?
Goodness.
It's a question.
Man, why do you have to torture us?
I'm telling you, I'm here to ask the hard questions. I'm here to ask hard questions. What would it be? Gavin Newsom or Rachel Maddow?
Man.
I think I'd go with the Gavcast.
Yeah, I think I'd have to.
Yeah. I think I'd go with it just because of the unknown.
Well, I would do it because as a news person, there might be some news in it.
There might be.
Whereas there's not going to be from the alternative.
This is true.
Oh, absolutely not. Yeah.
And it depends on who the guests are.
Yeah,
Are they going to get actual conservative guests? Or are they going to get like Dan Crenshaw?
Yeah.
It's going to be that Adam Kinzinger.
Yeah. And today on the show, another prominent Republican, Liz Cheney. That's what we're going to get.
I don't think that word means what you think it means.
I would probably listen to the Gavcast just because of the unknown. And maybe he gets owned by a conservative or two.
So what are they trying to do, Brother Chris? They trying to prime him for a run for the White House?
Oh, they're lubing that up. They're
looking for a leader.
They're greasing the wheels.
I think they saw how much Trump was involved in podcasts and was like, oh, that's kind of successful.
But they're idiots. They should have known this from the jump. And I think they would have gone with that strategy if Kamala Harris was a real person. But she's not. She's a robot.
Which identity do I take today?
She's just an alcoholic robot with split personalities. I'd probably go Gavcast over Rachel Maddow. Rachel Maddow, by the way, she was effing around. Do you remember this on MSNBC?
I do not want to lose her as a colleague here at MSNBC, and personally, I think it is a bad mistake to let her walk out the door. It is not my call, and I understand that, but that's what I think. I will tell you, it is also unnerving to see that on a network where we've got two non-white hosts in primetime.
She's counting how many non-white hosts there are?
Good grief.
Both of our non-white hosts in primetime are losing their shows, as is Katie Fang on the weekend.
So that was racism. Just that's what she was doing. So she was effing around, and she was saying it's racism why Joy Reid got fired. So that was the F around. Here's the find out. MSNBC star Rachel Maddow will lose much of her staff as part of the network's production cuts. Fox News has confirmed. It's the old graph. The more you F around, the more you find out.
So she's, oh man, this is rich. She's accusing her network of being racist.
Yes.
MSNBC.
Yes. For firing the, count 'em, 2 non-white hosts.
Oh, my.
Oh. I feel like it's racist that you're counting. But it's like the person that says, I have 2 black friends. Like, what, are you standing at the door like, whoa, that's enough. This is really weird. How many non-white staff members do you think she's going to complain about losing? Or do they only fire the white ones?
Yeah, you have to get paid above a certain amount for her to care.
Honestly. Maddow's team expect to be slashed in April after she finishes broadcasting 5 nights a week as part of MSNBC's primetime coverage of Donald Trump's first 100 days. The Rachel Maddow show will then revert to only Mondays An arrangement the network's most powerful host has brokered despite her lofty salary. She's getting paid $25 million a year, and she's going to work 1 day a week. Federal government employees don't have it this good. They don't. Much of the staff being laid off also worked on the Alex Wagner Show, the now canceled program that previously took over Maddow's 9 p.m. Eastern slot Tuesday through Friday. When the Rachel Maddow Show only airs on Mondays, Inside with Jen Psaki will be taking its place in MSNBC's revamped programming lineup, with Maddow Wagner shared staffers being let go. So it's got to be racism, right?
Oh, absolutely. Deep-seated.
Every time. It's always racism. Jeez. This is the left. This is the modern day left. Real quick before we close. Do you remember the Twitter account during the campaign, Kamala HQ? You remember that?
Yeah.
So they rebranded that Twitter account to an account called Fact Post because they gained some following, deranged leftists. So now they're Fact Post. And just yesterday, Fact Post, well, they were caught posting lies. And these people are idiots, honestly. They want to fact check everything. That's what the Democrats do. And these idiots didn't realize that they were posting a fact post about an AI generated clip. So they got this clip of Don Jr. and then they were just too gung-ho to post it because it's too good to be true. And they wanted to really slam those Nazis and those Republicans. So they posted this clip.
Imagine anyone in their right mind picking Ukraine as an ally when Russia is the other option. I mean, just think about it. Massive nuclear power loaded with natural resources everyone needs, literally the biggest country on the planet. And there's Ukraine, which has Chernobyl and some radiation-proof dogs. Yeah. Meanwhile, the Biden administration is like, oh yeah, this is definitely the ally we need. Let's dump all our money into them. Honestly, if anything, the U.S. should have been sending weapons to Russia.
You listen to that and you can hear that it's AI. But these people are so evil and so misguided and so ready to own the Republicans that the Twitter account called Fact Post posted mis and disinformation. I was under the impression that the Democrats viewed mis and disinformation as one of our gravest threats to democracy. I'll let you know if they issue a full apology.
Doubt.
It's never going to happen. There will be no follow-up on that.
Doubt.
Press X for doubt. It's 11:51 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. It's 11:55, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I'm Chris Hand. The YouTube chat's still jumping. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. Hit like and subscribe if you're over there on YouTube. We do appreciate it. Chad Benson in studio.
What's up?
So I got through my whole show. No Epstein info.
No.
Maybe it's going to drop during your show.
It might.
Do you have any faith? I have very little faith.
No, I never had faith in this.
It's like,
I think it's all BS. I think a vast majority of what all the games that everybody was talking, it's all baloney. Because it's all, like that, the data Republican. She goes, I'm not a data Republican anymore. She goes, I'm an R. Now it's a small R instead of a big R. Because she goes, once I got inside and seen how just corrupt and horrible the Republicans are, it's just one party.
Yeah.
It's Coke versus Pepsi, but they're both in on it.
Yeah. It's uniparty.
Yeah. They don't want, the last thing they want is a third party.
Yeah, I don't think that'll ever happen here.
No.
And I also don't know if there's like much of a benefit to a third party. I think Trump reshaping the Republican Party is more advantageous than there is a third party coming in.
No, I think a third party would be better. Because the problem is Trump, and him leaving, I think he takes so much of that flow with him.
You think so?
Absolutely.
I tend to disagree, but I think that if you get a guy like J.D. Vance in, you're still going to bring in that RFK bro crowd. You're still going to bring those guys in, but if you get a third party, then that 20% of the vote or whatever is going to go that way.
Yeah, but that third party could craft a lot more and get stuff done. Because at the end of the day, isn't it about getting stuff done for the people?
But would they get stuff done? Because
I think they would.
But you would then need them in Congress and in the Senate.
You'd have to.
It's a heavy lift.
It's way harder here because you really kind of like building a subway. You don't build the city then the subway. The subway has to be planned with it and done before it and as it grows. It's much tougher to do afterwards. And there's just he's Trump. He's the one and only. And the other ones who've tried to become somewhat cheap imitations. Some of them are good and they've got their own style. I love Vivek. I think Vivek's cool. I love JD. We'll see what JD looks like. In almost 4 years and what that looks like. But there's some of that flow there with them. But Trump, though, is so much bigger, and he is, the gravity with him that he pulls with his energy is something that it's tough for others to replicate.
No, I hear you. I still think we'll be in a good spot, though.
I think it'll be a good spot, but I think eventually what happens is I think the ship will right itself, and much like the Tea Party, it'll just kind of be gobbled up by the R's.
I hope you're wrong.
I mean, that's, and a lot also depends on these next, 4 years. What does stuff look like in 4 years?
This is true.
Because in 4 years, if things are rocking and rolling, then that's easy to do. If 4 years from now things are on a struggle bus, well, that's a different story.
Yeah.
You
hear about Gene Hackman?
I did. He's dead.
Do you hear that they're now reporting it as suspicious, saying prescription bottle pills were scattered near wife?
I wonder if he died and then she had enough and she couldn't go on. Why would you kill the dog?
Maybe the dog died of starvation.
Maybe, man, the dog would have probably ate.
You've heard those stories, too.
Oh, God, yeah. Like cats are like, if you're sleeping kind of like really well, the cat might try to go over and take a bite of you. But dogs will eventually, like, we're hungry.
Yeah.
We were talking yesterday, would you eat a penguin? We're like, well, yeah, if you're starving somewhere, you'd eat a penguin.
Oh, yeah. I'd try penguin.
Yeah. Old Ken in there was pretty much like they're too cute to eat.
Yeah, I can't eat a penguin.
Really?
I can't do it. I'd have to off my best friend first.
Have you ever eaten duck?
Yeah, I've had duck.
They're way cuter than penguins.
They are, and
wait, like,
but you would have a tough time killing a penguin. I mean, a duck probably.
Yeah,
I think it would be much easier to kill a penguin. They can't fly.
Well, they're easier to catch.
You can chase them down.
They're easier to catch.
I think.
I mean, emotionally, it would be harder.
He's talking about,
I think
that's what we were talking about yesterday.
Duck versus penguin. I mean, penguin.
He got off on you should eat I would eat a turtle. I'm like, well, why would you eat a turtle?
I would feel more guilty about eating a turtle.
Well,
I grew up watching Franklin. I feel like I'd have some trauma.
If I was starving and I needed something ASAP, then I'd just go, I'd find out like a box turtle in my neighborhood and I'd boil it.
Okay.
And then, live for maybe another 24 or 48 hours.
You go full shredder turtle soup?
Oh, totally. He's eating it. He's going to take that shell off and just look and find out they're only like that big. There's like they're just gross looking, like little old scrawny men.
Pour hot water through the shell and call it soup.
I'd eat a penguin. I would. What do you got coming up on the show today?
We're going to talk a bit about Epstein. Talk a little bit about that. We're talking about Gen Z is terrified to talk on the phone, and there are actually people out there that get up to $400 an hour to come in and train Gen Z workers how to talk on the phone. I know.
What are we doing?
I would do that.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. So you got to have a better LinkedIn, guys.
No,
what in the world?
But they're terrified. Like they're at work and somebody's calling their work and they won't even answer the phone because they're terrified to answer the phone.
We used to be a proper country.
We used to be. My God. It's insane, man. We'll talk about that. A bunch of other wacky stuff. And Monica Lewinsky was on Call Her Daddy podcast.
Oh.
Super interesting, actually.
Really?
Really interesting.
She was the first one to call him daddy.
Yeah. Well, you know what? She got screwed over in more ways than one.
She sure did.
That's what I'm saying. Got a lot of jokes.
You hear that Trump keeps showing everybody the room? Like anybody that comes to the White House, he's like, come in here. This is the Monica room. This is where it happened. Seriously. Like, I wonder if that's is that a stop on the White House tours now? They just started those.
That's so, oh yeah, because they started those up the other day and he made an appearance.
Yeah. First one, everybody, come on. This is the Monica room.
Come here. Look at this.
It's 12:01. Super Talk 99.7 WTN.